Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Beat the Chasers fans lashed out at the ITV quiz show after a contender was served up a ridiculous opening question during Thursday's 16 January installment. A slew of hopefuls faced off against the formidable Chasers Mark Labbett, Sean Wallace, Ann Hegarty, Paul Sinha, Jenny Ryan, and Dara Ennis, with only some managing to beat the brains and bag the cash. But Ray, the third contestant up, seemed to cop an unfavorable draw as he went toe-to-toe with the Chaser squad. His inaugural challenge posed, in 1894, Queen Victoria bought an oil painting by Daniel Meitens of Charles I and Henrietta Maria departing for what? Host Bradley Walsh couldn't help but burst out, "What is that for a first question?" before reeling off the trio of potential answers, the chase, the apprentice, and the Twilight Zone. Ray guessed the Twilight Zone, though sadly, Bradley had to reveal the correct response was actually the chase. The deflated player conceded that he was entirely in the dark over the difficult question, reports the Liverpool Echo. Fans of Beat the Chasers aired their frustration on social media. One person said on X, "That was a shit first question. They should invite him back next series. #Beat the Chasers." Another echoed the sentiment, tweeting, #Beat the Chasers. What a BHE ridiculous first question. While someone else said, "Getting that as first question seemed a bit harsh. #Beat the Chasers." A fourth viewer of the ITV program commented, "That was an awful first question. I don't understand why they broadcast the people that get the first question wrong and can't play on. If that were me, I definitely wouldn't want to be on TV. #Beat the Chasers." In other parts of the show, contestants bagged some hefty sums, with one walking away £50,000 richer and another pocketing £30,000. The episode's first contestant, Daniel, nabbed $30K after flawlessly outsmarting the Chasers, despite being handed less than 40 seconds on the clock. The Chaser star Mark Labbett, aka The Beast, even gave a shout-out to the impressive victory on social media, posting, "I think that is only the second time the Chasers have been beaten despite playing perfectly. A time offer of less than 40 seconds is huge. #Beat the Chasers." The win sent viewers into a frenzy, with one fan exclaiming, "Played that absolutely perfect, congrats," and another praising, "Well done, Daniel, what a great performance, and so close too, enjoy your winnings." The studio lights pulsed as the clock ticked down, the iconic red swirl of Beat the Chasers illuminating the intense face of contestant Leanne, a 28-year-old teacher from Liverpool, gripping the podium so hard her knuckles turned white. Bradley tried to keep it light, as he always did. "Leanne, how are we feeling?" "Terrified," she laughed nervously, eyes flicking up at the 5 Chasers lined like chess pieces ready to strike. Mark, Ann, Sean, Dara, Jenny, all with that mix of playful menace and sharp calculation. Leanne was playing for £80,000, taking on all 5 Chasers. She'd stormed her cash builder, and viewers on X, formerly Twitter, were already calling her the best contestant of the series. But what happened next had fans fuming. The question popped up on screen. "How many legs does a centipede have?" Leanne's brow furrowed. "Is it 100? She whispered. The studio fell silent before Bradley winced. "Oh, unlucky." The correct answer was, "It varies by species, but never 100 exactly." Before she could process the blow, the Chasers slammed their buzzers, rattling off correct answer after correct answer, the time draining from a clock like water down a plug hole. Mark smirked, and tapped her fingers, satisfied. Dara's eyes softened for a moment, but the game was the game. Leanne was caught with 7 seconds left on her clock. As the caught klaxon blared, Leanne's face fell, tears pricking as the dream of £80,000 disappeared into the hot studio lights. But the real storm came moments later. "Ridiculous question," one viewer raged on X. How can you ask that under pressure? She said 100, which is literally what centipede means, another posted. That was harsh. They robbed her, a third fumed. Clips of the moment were shared thousands of times, with captions like, ITV done her dirty, and they don't want us to win. Fans even tagged the official Beat the Chasers account, demanding a rematch for Leanne. Bradley, catching the tension, gave Leanne a comforting arm squeeze before she left. You were brilliant, you know that. Leanne nodded, trying to smile. I just wish I'd gotten a different question. Backstage, Anne whispered to Mark, that was a bit unfair, wasn't it? Mark shrugged. It's the game. But fans weren't letting it go. Forums lighted up with debate about overly technical questions under pressure and whether the show was too harsh for regular players hoping to change their lives. Leanne later shared on social media, I don't regret it, I gave it everything, but yeah, it was a tough question under pressure. But the image of her standing under the bright lights, whispering 100, while millions shouted the same at their screens, became one of Beat the Chasers' most unforgettable, controversial moments. And as the next episode began, fans were still arguing about whether that ridiculous question proved Beat the Chasers was the toughest quiz show on TV, and if it was time for the Chasers to face some harsh questions themselves.